To the My Amazon Guy weekly Q&A, Tuesdays, 1 p.m. I appreciate you joining me today. You can start asking your questions in the comment section now. We'll be taking as many questions as come in today. Josh, I appreciate the compliment. Starting soon. Music is spectacular. Found it on YouTube. Slapped my own logo on it. It was a free license, so I'm glad I found it. Glad you like it. If you're joining us in from LinkedIn today, comment section may or may not be working. Do not know, can't tell. Feel free to join us over on YouTube. Last week, we talked about a lot of account-related questions, tax infrastructures, how to run your account. If you didn't check out that last week's stream, feel free to check that out. Today's stream will be pretty much open book, can talk about anything you'd like. I will float like a butterfly to any Amazon topic. 2 weeks ago, we talked a lot about inventory limits, and I do not have an update on that one. Do not know when inventory limits will be going away. Rumor has it, though, that we may see an update from 200 to 1,000 SKU limitation as early as March. But I will post videos on my YouTube channel. That is definitely going to be a breaking news type subject. If anything develops there, we will let you know. On Thursday of this week, I will be presenting on the AMZ Scout webinar on SEO. I have recently been on the Helium 10 Elite podcast talking about SEO, as well as a 4-part series with Ad Badger, where we go way in depth on search engine optimization. These are great pieces of content. If you haven't seen them, definitely go check them out. And then I'm going to start taking your questions here in just a moment. Quick couple of thoughts. Amazon aggregators are very much on my mind the past couple of weeks. I will probably pivot over to talk about them if we have a lull in any questions. An Amazon aggregator is somebody like Perch, Thrasio, and many others. In fact, I will have Thrasio on my podcast coming up. Might be Thursday, actually. It might be sometime shortly after that, if not. And we'll probably take that podcast live if they let me and do it via StreamYard live in YouTube. Otherwise, we'll record it on and publish it later. The other thing on my mind is auto campaigns. I think they're underrated. We've been doing a lot of testing with auto campaigns of late and have had some great success with that. And if you haven't been doing your auto campaigns, there's definitely a lot of strategy involved that could be very beneficial. All right, so let's start taking questions. Dogan asks, should I wait the products to become available to be able to create a removal order? So I may need a little bit of clarification on this question, Dogan, but if you're asking if like an inventory item is in reserved and like what happens to it, you can ask Amazon to move inventory out of reserved so that you can place the removal order. If the item is not active, it will not let you place the removal order. If that doesn't answer your question, feel free to ask a follow-up. Andres asks, hi, Stephen, I'm working in Amazon marketing agency based in Scandinavia. Question regarding reviews. What we normally do for our clients is take advantage of Vine plus being aggressive on PPC campaigns. He goes on to say, as well as external traffic using Feedback 5 CRM system to get in touch with buyers and request reviews, complying with Amazon's terms, of course. But lately, we don't see that many results from Feedback 5. What would you recommend getting reviews besides Vine? Thank you in advance. So fantastic question and worth a couple of minutes to discuss this one. So first of all, email review programs are not effective right now in any shape or form. I'm a big fan of Feedback Wiz, like their program. Helium 10 recently rolled theirs out as well. The first one to market was Feedback Genius. I've met a lot of the people involved in Feedback Genius and Seller Labs, good people over there. There's also a lot of new tools where you can do the automated click review request button. We've run some tests. We currently do not see any lift on any of this information. So unfortunately, for whatever reason, we just haven't seen a lot of benefit from these types of programs. There's a variety of reasons why that might be, including the fact that maybe 60% of customers have opted out of receiving a review email. That could be part of the problem. Could be that everybody's inundated the buyers and they no longer want to talk to you as a seller. They don't want to be marketed by you at all. And it also could just be that customers are no longer interested in communicating this way. Could be a variety of reasons. So Vine is still, unfortunately, the best option that you have. In addition to that, there's the early reviewer program, which gets you your first 5 reviews. They send a gift card to your customers. It costs you $60, gets you up to 5 reviews. So Vine will probably have a charge sometime very soon. And I recommend you take advantage of Vine before those charges come in play. The rumor was that Vine was going to start charging as early as last month. We haven't seen that yet. Very much still could. And it's very important that you take advantage of it before they start charging. Like Vine used to be Vendor Central only, used to have to pay like $2,000 to even get into the program. And Seller Central opened it up wide open for free, which was a great thing. I currently do not offer any review generation programs as part of our agency at MyAmazonGuy, and that's because we just find nothing effective at this time. If you still want to try and generate them through a third-party tool, you can. Just really haven't seen any benefits to any of them. So sorry, not a great answer on that one, but that's the truth of the matter. Dogan asks about the trademarks. If a product in a listing that has a brand that doesn't match with goods and services on USPTO, can I still sell products on that listing? Thank you. So I think what you're asking, Dogan, is if your trademark is in, like, I don't know, the category of grocery and you want to sell in kitchen, can you still get access to brand registry and all those benefits? And the answer to that question is yes, you can. Although it's not guaranteed. And that's because if you have a short brand name, let's say lots of different people have that same brand name, but in a different category, then you're going to have brand node ID competition, and it may not transfer very easily. But I have, a trademark and a brand name where I've sold in both clothing, I've sold in kitchen equipment, wine glasses, have not had a problem to date with getting access to my brand registry benefits. We do file trademarks frequently, probably averaging 3 or 4 trademarks filed a day at MyAmazonGuy right now. And if you want to get in on that action, I'll post a link in the comments section. A lot of people still don't understand that you can get a trademark with a pending mark and apply for brand registry and get your brand registry in under 7 days. So if you buy a trademark from us, $775, we'll get you the serial number within 1 business day. And you can then take that serial number in about 5 days from the time we give it to you and go to brandregistry.amazon.com and file your brand registry. And you get your brand registry in a total of like 7 days. It's super amazing. It's faster than the IP Accelerator, cheaper as well. It's definitely one of our top entry-level services to us as a company right now. And I highly recommend that any Amazon seller ever has a trademark and has brand registry in place. You will not want to continue selling on Amazon without these things. Hijackers, A+ content, a lot of different benefits and things to keep in mind. Mark asks, any advice on transitioning from aggressive PPC launch now that I have ranked successfully to remove the training wheels and transition to increase organic sales? PPC may be sabotaging organic sales. Mark, depending on what category you're in, your current ACOS, and how much stock you have available would answer that question. So if you were in supplements and you have an unlimited stock, I'd say don't let off the gas at all. But if you said, I'm down to my last 100 items and I'm going to stock out on next Tuesday, I would say, heck yeah, pull the PPC back immediately. So there's a lot of variables to that situation. You're welcome to ask a follow-up question and give me a little bit more detail. But basically, in the month 1, go ham, no doubts about it. Like go 30% of your revenue in PPC. Month 2, you could go as little as 10 to 15% and try and work your way towards 10% ongoing. That's kind of where I would leave it if you can. But PPC is critical to your success. You need sales to get sales. It's a weird statement, but it absolutely is true. You need to get those sales in the door. If you don't, you're going to lose some rankings and whatnot. Glenn asks, I have over 14,000 reviews. I've noticed my reviews sometimes go up, but I can't see where the new reviews have come from because they're not showing the most recent section. Glenn, do you have brand registry? Because if you have brand registry, you can see all of your latest reviews. I'm actually going to screen share this. I'm going to pull up into my own account here. And you go to brands and you go to brand dashboard, which I'm going to start sharing my screen here. So let's go share screen and share screen. Boom, here we go. So here's the brand dashboard. To get to this location, you put your cursor over brands, go to brand dashboard, go into customer reviews. And here you can see this review came in on February 12th. Be careful, this glass is thin. So they gave me a 5-star review, but they're like, but be careful, right? It happens. So we scroll down here. You can see I've got a bunch of 5-star reviews. I do 0 review generation right now. These are all coming in from natural orders, and I hardly ever see a negative review, knock on wood. But I think I have a good product, so I don't really have to worry about it too much. But if you've got 14,000 reviews and you've got brand registry, you should be able to come in on this customer review section and see what was recently left. You can sort this by the last 60 days. And you can see I've generated 48 reviews in the last 30 or 60 days or so. And I'm sure you've got hundreds and hundreds in there to look at. So Glenn, let me know if I gave you a good answer. Let me know how that goes. Let's go to our next question. So we got Tessa. What do you suggest to do to push sales when you have a product that has decreased in ranking but stayed consistent with conversions? If PPC, CPC is high and margins are slim, 2-year-old product. So Tessa, you probably have a bunch of competition. I would look at what your competition is doing right now. Maybe there's a problem, right? Like what if your price too high? What I would also say is if your conversion rate is too high, you're leaving sales on the table. Generally, you're not pushing enough traffic to the listings. So if you have I posted a video a week or so ago about having a 42% conversion rate on my social distancing wine glass. And I'm absolutely leaving sales on the table right now because if I would spend more on traffic, my conversion rate would be more like 30%. I'm just reaping in profits right now, and I'm very comfortable, and I'm focused on the agency, and so I'm missing out on that front. But in your case, if you have a competitive market, so let's pull this up. So competitive market, on point, makes sense. 30% at the beginning, transitions to 10 to 15%, good goal and obtainable. Thanks. You're very welcome, Mark. So back to Tessa's question here. So if the CPCs are high, you should look at external opportunities for traffic, right? Like look at Google AdWords. It's really difficult to get this right with external traffic. So just try and test it and see what happens. But if your CPC is high, you still need to generate more traffic. If your conversion rate's good and your CPC is high, you're not generating enough traffic. If you feel comfortable, post your ASIN in the channel. Again, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. But if you're comfortable posting it, I will pull up your listing live and look at it to see if I can see any opportunities. This is for anybody who wants to do that. But I think it was Tessa that asked that question. So Tessa, if you want me to look at your listing and share what I would change or do to take it to the next level, I'm very happy to do that. So Tessa says, Glenn, it may be ratings and not typed out reviews. And Glenn says, I see. Thanks, Tessa. All right, let's go to Mikkel. All right. Hi, Stephen. Question about PPC. After running auto campaigns, I choose keywords with sales and good ACOS and create manual campaigns, but not getting sales via these keywords anymore. Any thoughts? Not keyword related. This one's interesting. This is a really interesting one because you don't necessarily know what happened to prevent this from happening. So a couple of basic things to rule out. Number one, if you have a duplicate SKU and you put the wrong SKU into the ad campaign, it's not going to get impressions. So if you have a merchant fulfilled SKU and a fulfilled by Amazon SKU, you need to make sure both of those are placed into the campaign. I suspect that's not what you're looking for, but I have to rule out some of the basics. The next thing I would look at is your product in the buy box. If your product's in the buy box and it's correctly set up in the ad, then it might be a relevancy issue. Now, one of the questions I'd have for you, Mikkel, is if the auto campaign is still active and still receiving impressions for this keyword, it would be very unusual for the manual campaign to not also receive impressions. Very unusual. One of the things I would suggest to you is to look at setting up a single keyword campaign where you put that one keyword you're trying to push and build a dedicated campaign out for it. Because if you do that, that could be part of what you are missing out on. So if you have 50 keywords in a campaign, sometimes it overwhelms the relevancy questions and you don't get enough impressions or you don't get any impressions. So what I would suggest doing is break out those campaigns into singular keyword campaigns if at all possible. I suspect that will benefit you. Of all the things I recommended, I bet you that's the one you're probably missing. Make sure the campaign budgets aren't tapping out, all that good stuff. Make sure that the word you're advertising on is present in your copy somewhere. Title, bullets, description, A+ content, wherever you can fit it would be very, very beneficial. All right, we've got 22 active viewers live with us right now. Thank you all for joining us. Looking for the next question. Anybody wants to tee it up? Type it out right now. Mikhail follows up with auto campaigns is active, but when I put these keywords as negative for the auto campaign, each manual has 1 to 5 keywords. Why would you negate them on the auto? I would leave them on for the auto, and let the auto still perform for you. So maybe go back and double check the negations. Make sure you didn't negate them on the manual campaign, which I'm sure you didn't, but you never know. That could happen. But I would not negate them from the auto. If you've got a keyword that's working, never negate it ever from anywhere. You should just run it wherever you can, as many places as you possibly can. So that's a weird scenario. I actually kind of want to ask how to rectify that one further. Jake Gray says, "Why are you so handsome?" Well, I don't know how to respond to that one. Thank you. I think I'm a balding man. I've got 3 kids under 5 and a 4th on the way. And I feel very much like Homer Simpson these days, where the next one pops out, I pull out the rest of my hair. So we'll see how that goes. Glenn says, I recall about 2 years ago that someone was trying to push legislation through to make Amazon responsible for patent infringements. Have you heard of this? And is it still going through? Yes and no. I think there is some development on this. Amazon can be held liable for product problems. That was went through the courts a couple months ago. I also am familiar with that there is a patent thing where you can, let's say you or somebody else has a problem with a patent. You can take somebody else to Amazon's court, arbitration, if you will, and then you both put in $3,000 and the winner gets their money back and the loser pays out that money to the arbiter. And right now, if you have a patent issue with somebody else, you can take them to that arbitration. I would go into that with an Amazon patent attorney, though. I would not do that without support from an expert because it's pretty complex from my understanding. So that's pretty much all I know about the patent arbitration process. I've never done it personally. I'm just generally aware of it. All right. Andres asks a couple of other questions. How do you see Amazon's develop in Europe over the next 5 years? What will be the key things to focus on for brands, not private labels, to succeed? So I think that Europe is way behind Amazon US. We are going to see a lot of the programs that are in the US accelerate into Europe. I've seen that happen over the last year where normally it would take Europe like 3 to 5 years to catch up. Now it's like taking less than a year to do so. So I think Europe will catch up on these questions. What brands that aren't private labels can do, they need to build a community. If you build a community around your products off and on Amazon, make sure you're doing social posts on Amazon. So if you haven't done Amazon social posts, that's a big miss. Do that. Make sure you're building out your other social media off-site, and just ask yourself this question: what is something that your product does in the lives of your consumers, and what else could you do for them? Do more of that, right? So like that's what I'm doing with my agency, right? Like I'm coming up on a weekly session and just offering value wherever I can to grow my brand. I'm trying to build a community on YouTube. It's a work in progress. I'm a small guy trying to become a big guy. And that's the same concept for brand management on Amazon. You've got to put forth the effort and talk to your consumers, run some pick food tests, A/B tests, try and figure out what works best for your product and talk to your consumers. Ask them lots of questions. What are we doing in our agency is offering full service package where we take care of all the aspects related to selling on Amazon, shipping plans, account management strategies, etc. But there are more and more agencies on the market offering the same thing. But the problem is Amazon changes a lot. The market itself is getting more and more dominated by big players. You're absolutely correct. It's never been harder to run an agency. And I'm speaking from experience. I've got 160 clients, 47 employees, and working on expanding that. My goal is to be 80 employees by the end of this year. We're expanding very quickly. We have a lot of growth initiatives and trying to hire Amazon specialists left and right. It is a difficult atmosphere to navigate right now, but also very rewarding. Very high profits for all people related to Amazon, agencies, Amazon brands, sellers, buyers, you name it. It's good for everybody, generally speaking. But it's also very taxing, very difficult work. For example, like you earlier, somebody asked about review generation and like all those programs stopped working, right? Like search, find, buy, external programs of any kind. All of those are diminishing returns right now. It's very difficult to make your agency a full service agency because you can't keep up on every single one of these fronts, and nor should you try. Be an expert in a core area and stick to it. That's what I recommend. So at MyRefundGuy, we stick to anything within Seller Central. So SEO and PPC on traffic generation. And then on the conversion front, we focus on catalog management. So listing yanks, reinstatements, merchandising, products, and design like A+ content. We've had to give up some ground, right? So like we don't do as much back office work today as we did a year ago or even 2 years ago. So you have to really specialize in. Travis says, we were approved for EBC the other day. We uploaded a video, want to promote it, but it looks like we need 3 products to promote our video. Am I just missing something? Travis, you do need 3 products to run a sponsored brand headline, but you only need 1 for a video ad. Video ads are extremely important. Highly recommend them because video ads on Amazon are crushing it right now. But I would be, maybe there's like a setting when you're going through the campaign creation. So let me share my screen. I'll create a campaign live with you so you can see like what it looks like. So let me share my screen here. And on the right-hand side, you can see all the options for what you can create. And so you want to go in and create a sponsored brand when you're doing a video ad. And then in here, you can see the options. So if you're doing a product collection, you have to have 3 products. But if you're doing a video, it's just 1. So let's just select my social distancing glass. This is my #1 seller. This is the product that gets a 42% conversion rate on Amazon. And in here, notice how I only had to select 1. And in fact, see how I can't even select a second one? And then when you go to create the video, follow these video specs, upload it, make sure you don't have any black in the front or the end of the video, and follow all these specs, and you will be just fine. Then you can come down and see like what keywords to focus on. Amazon will give you some suggested keywords, or you can select your own list and put them in, put whatever bid you want. What I would do if I were you is I would go ahead and do kind of right in the middle of these bids when you first started out, see what happens, optimize the video ad from there. But like as you can see here, I can already submit this, and I've only selected 1 product. So I think I've got your question on lock on that one, Travis. Let me know how that goes. Andreas asks, how do you see the future of Amazon agencies will be the thing brands are going to look for? Competency and results, 100%. So on our website, if you go to myamazonguy.com/testimonials, we are a results-driven agency. So it doesn't matter if I have the worst customer service in the entire world. If we are offering the ability to grow yourselves faster than anybody else, people are going to flock to me. So my brand position is we grow sales faster. For your agency, Andres, you got to figure out like what you do that somebody else doesn't do. Like, do you make people's lives easier? Do you have a lower cost? What's your value prop? Figure it out. Spend your time there. Krunal asks, hello, Stephen from India. Started following you since a month ago. Any chances getting consultancy for India, as I have a lot of clients facing same sales issues through Amazon? We have focused primarily on the United States. Our business is we're signing like a new client every 2 or 3 days right now, full service. Because of that, we've had to really hyper focus to the United States. A lot of the things that you're facing in India are basically things that the US went through 2 to 5 years ago, and you got lots of growth, but your logistics and your infrastructure is just completely separate. I wouldn't even know how to speak to that. But what I would say is the general best practices do apply. Make sure you've got all of the traffic generation conversion elements in place, and check all those boxes. You'll be just fine. I think your competition in India is quite weak. So if you just show up and follow the best practices, you should dominate the space. Masami asks, when I click my brand, my full name and address shows up. Yeah, this is scary, right? Is there any way I can have my brand name showing instead of my full name? How can I change it? So this just directly links to your legal entity and your legal address. So you can change the legal name, make sure it matches your brand. And if you have a bug with this, I do believe somebody in my comment section on YouTube did bring me a bug where he did change his legal entity to a professional business LLC, and it still showed his personal name. And I don't know the solution for that. But I'm guessing a lot of people are frustrated by this because it's a huge, it's like your privacy just kind of like disappears, right? Like when people can see your address as a seller. I did a video the other day on a program that allows you to look up any seller on the map in the entire United States. And you should definitely check that one out. Let's see if I can find it and post a link to it here. Have to go. It's about 12 videos back now, so I need a second for this. But in any case, it's hard to not have privacy now. So it's called Smart Scout. I'm going to post a link to it, and I actually went on his podcast the other day and talked to him. Pretty cool tool. You guys should check that one out. You can like look on the map for free right now if you want. Mark says, just today I found my product listed on Alibaba. All of my images are being used. Anything I can do? Yes. File for copyright infringement. And there is a form you can fill out on Alibaba to get that taken down. It's definitely going to be whack-a-mole, but it's actually not too bad. It's like the same process with Amazon. Just file an infringement report, Mark. You should be able to Google Alibaba infringement report, and it should come right up. Dogan says, do you provide a product supplier service, product selling well with an official supplier in the US? I do not. I want my agency to be focused on like growing sales, not necessarily on sourcing. There's a lot of product suppliers out there, and I'm not one of them. So like we generally refer out for those kinds of questions. AJ says, can you answer my question above? Let's see. Okay, I must have missed it. Sorry, AJ. What are the best countries to expand with FBA beyond the US as a US-based seller, and what growth have you seen by expanding internationally? So what I would say is Canada, number one, and I would focus on Canada before I go anywhere else. Make sure you have NARF up at the very bare minimum. Canada should add 7% to your bottom line. Germany would be the next one I would go to. Germany should add another 25% to 33% to your bottom line. A little bit more of a range depending on your category. And then the United Kingdom should add another 10%. It's also harder to do business in the UK right now. We are not focused on Europe because of those challenges. Scrolling back down, if I do miss your question, re-ask it. I'm doing my best on this. I need to hire a social media liaison who like queues these up. And as we scale this operation, we're going to have to. Let's see. We've got that one answered. That one answered. Going down the list here. All right. I think we're back to the spot I need to be. So Tessa asked, not too comfortable giving the ASIN here. I wrote you on your video, and you commented yesterday regarding stripping a listing to reboot the honeymoon phase. I have forbidden keywords to describe it. Advise on reboots. So reboot is challenging, Tessa, because you already probably have a lot of good indexing in place. And so if you do a reboot, you're resetting it. Now the question is if you reset the honeymoon period, can you regain faster or not? So depending on the sales velocity right now, I would debate that. If you run your ASIN through a tool like Helium 10, you can look up reverse ASIN and see how many keywords you're indexed for. And depending on that question and what the rankings are, I would advise you differently depending on that answer, because you generally don't want to do a reset where you strip the listing down to like 3 or 4 words in a title and remove the bullets, the A+ content, the description, and everything, images included, unless like the listing is on fire. If the listing's on fire, yeah, go ahead and do it. But if you're just trying to like rank on some forbidden keywords, I don't think that this is going to help you. I wouldn't reset the listing just to chase the forbidden keywords, because I don't think it will make a difference. Now, if you can advertise on forbidden keywords and send some external traffic, that might be in your best interest. Emin asks, what is the most valuable to an aggregator? 1 million in revenue, 5 SKUs, 25% profit margin, or 2 million in revenue, 20 SKUs, 25% margin? Without a doubt, number 2. And that is because larger is always going to be better for the aggregator. More SKU opportunity. You may be average on your SKUs, and if they could take 5 of your best 25 or 20 SKUs and make you from average to exceptional, they will get their money back in less than a year. So that's why I think expanding SKU counts is extremely valuable on Amazon, because you have a lot of opportunities. The more products you expand to, the more opportunities you have to grow your sales, the more diversity you bring to the table. So if you're gonna sell to an aggregator, and by the way, I would love to talk more about Amazon aggregators. So if you got any questions about Amazon aggregators, there's Thrasio, there's Perch, there's a bunch of other aggregators out there. They are on the prowl right now. There's a bunch of stupid money that's entering the space, like sheer high volume amounts of money. Thrasio just raised another $750 million last week. They raised $1 billion last year, and they're the largest aggregator. There are many, many other aggregators. And by the way, I'm a big fan of aggregators. So when I talk about this, I think that you should be paying attention to what they're doing. But they also are raising a lot of money in the market force, and it's going to cause a lot of impacts. So on Friday and Sunday, I posted 2 videos about my thoughts on this. I go very deep and methodical on what I think is going on in the space, and I think that when you have aggregators coming in and increasing your competition on one hand, and then on the other hand you've got Chinese sellers going direct to consumer, it's going to put a pincer on you, right? So like you're going to have pressure from the left and the right, and it's going to be difficult for you as an Amazon seller. So no matter who you are and what you do, what you sell, you need to up your game right now. And if you can't keep up with the sophistication, you should sell. This is a good time to sell. But for those that hold on, your EBITDA is going to go up 30-40% this year, and you'll probably get more money next year or late this year. And it's beneficial if you can expand. But there's a reason why aggregators are investing here. It's because there's no better place to invest right now. Zero, no better place, right? Like, I don't trust the stock market. Do you? Hyperinflation with money and investing in businesses right now just makes a lot of sense, especially with the retail businesses. You can't invest there. It's like in like government, politics, whatever, social distancing, government lockdowns, all of these things prohibit you from making safe investments in physical brick and mortar right now. So it makes a lot of sense to dump money in e-commerce. The aggregators were on this hunt prior to going into COVID-19, and now they're accelerating their plans. Krunal says, any tool suggestions to see competitor ad campaigns? Honestly, the number one thing I use is just the typical average day Joe reverse ASIN search, where you see what keywords they're bidding on. I believe there are some tools out there that can show you how much money they're spending, but I'm not aware of any personally. I would get the sense that probably exists, but it's probably an estimator tool. If anybody knows of one, please post it in the comments section. Even if you're watching this after the recording airs or the live stream ends, we'd love to hear any comments you have on this subject. The guy that would know this answer would probably be Ad Badger. We may have to tap them for this question. But I think, if you look at any particular listing on Amazon, I'll share my screen again on this question, right? So I'm just going to go look at a random product and share my screen here. I'll show you like what Helium 10 can do, so that you're at least generally aware of it. All right, so let's just let's try this guy right here. All right, so this is a random office product, okay? And I'm going to hit the Helium 10 keyword button. This is really cool. I can see all the words they index for. This pulls up Cerebro in Helium 10. And by the way, if you see this tool and you're like, oh, I need more of that, I do have an affiliate relationship with Helium 10 to get 50% off your first 2 months. That's actually the highest offer they've ever had. And I will post that in the comment section. But here you can see that this particular product has 0 sponsored keywords. They're not advertising on anything. So bad example that I chose, but the 3,200 keywords they have organically ranked, you can see how their rankings are. And so this is a mature listing with 3,200 keywords index. They have more than 50 keywords in the top 2 rankings. They're doing quite well for themselves, which is why they may not have any sponsored products. And you can see, on a regular listing that is advertising, you can see how many keywords are being sponsored versus organic. On the sponsored ads, I recommend having 50% sponsored products, and basically for every 2 keywords you index for organically, I recommend that you advertise on at least half of those. because there's generally value in doing so. So hopefully that was at least a small taste of that for tools. All right. Hey, Steven, can you list A+ content for a product outside of your registered brand, basically not related to your registered brand? The answer is no, you cannot. You might be able to load a video, but people are struggling to get that to work right now too. But you definitely can't load any A+ content. That one's off the table. Glenn asks, do you think with the might of Walmart, they will ever seriously compete with Amazon? This is a great question. No, I don't. Honest answer. But if anybody can do it, it's Walmart. Walmart has the money to do it. They don't have the willpower though. And that's because like they bought Jet. They couldn't do anything with it, right? Like they couldn't integrate Jet with their other point of sale system. And the Walmart traffic is significantly up, but it's just like still a pretty terrible customer service experience. And I don't see them knocking Amazon down anytime soon. But if anybody can do it, it's definitely Walmart. MY says, you mentioned a few times your grocery category is growing absolutely 30% year over year. Can you expand on this topic? Which opportunities do you see in this category for sellers with lots of experience and big funds? What I would say is go launch as many SKUs as you can across a portfolio of products. Grocery is a lower margin business, but it's definitely the fastest growing category on Amazon. And that has everything to do with the fact that nobody wants to go to the grocery store right now and wear a mask. And so that's the why. Amazon Pantry also just went under. I think it was Amazon Pantry. If it wasn't Amazon Pantry, there was another similar program. So somebody correct me in the comments if I got that one wrong. But there's an opportunity to expand in grocery right now. So I do have a hot sauce. I guess it's on my other side here, right there where my finger is almost. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I can't green screen effectively. This is harder than it looks. This is actually really hard. Okay, there we go. It's on the far right up there. Maybe I should just go grab it. Anyway, I launched a hot sauce. I did really well, and then they shipped my 5-pound bottle in freaking padded envelopes, and everything broke when it went to the consumer, and I threw in the towel. And then I got busy with the agency and never revisited it. But definitely an opportunity to launch hot sauce. Definitely an opportunity to run any typical items. You know, if I were going to do it again, I wouldn't do a glass. I would do plastic to make sure there's no damages. And I would try and hit a $15 to $20 price point. So if you're going to get into grocery right now, $15 to $20 price point, try and keep your weight down if you can, and go plastic, not glass. And box it. Make sure you box it before it gets to Amazon if there's any chance it would explode. I've noticed that small and large standard items, FBA limits got lifted, but for small oversized items, it's still in place. Do you have any idea why that is happening? When I was doing my shipments this past week, I have small items the size of a wine glass, right? And I'm still seeing limits in place. There's no public announcement on this question as far as I know. And I just lost my video there. Not sure what happened there. Let's see if we'll see if we can try and fix it. All right. Not sure what happened to the video. Gonna try and reset it. May have to switch to my webcam here. Let's see if I can figure that out on the fly. Eddie edits audio avatar, edit name. Cool. Well, I don't know if my camera ran out of juice or what. Stand by. Camera mic. Let's switch over to webcam. All right, we're back doing webcam instead of my nice pricey camera. Sorry about that. All right, so to finish Mikhail's question, I don't have any new information on SKU limitations right now. It's definitely a mess. I do think we'll see some updates here in the next 2 weeks, probably officially from Amazon. Nathan asks, if I pull my inventory and stop selling, will my IPI score go up? Any tips to increase my IPI score? So you need to chase between 450 and 500 on the IPI score. And I definitely recommend it. But in all honesty, right now, doing a removal order will not increase your IPI score because it's a rolling like 90 days on your IP score. And you only get credit for sales. You don't get negative credit when you do a removal order, if that makes sense. And so we've tested this frequently. Like overstocking has a negative impact, but removing the overstocking doesn't seem to have much of a positive impact. And they're looking at turn rates, right? So like they're rewarding the physical sale. they're not rewarding removal orders. They're just not punishing you any further. So if you're under a 450 score right now, Nathan, it's because you're overstocking, you're sending in too much, and you need to increase your turn rates and try and get a 2.5 turn rate for every item you ship in. Try and turn it over every 6 weeks if you can. That's ultimately where you need to head. Glenn suggests, how long will it be for a great product to go from 0 to hero from launch? Could be as little as 10 days, Glenn. Just depends on the products, and we've seen a lot of products that go from 0 to hero very quickly. In fact, we took a chocolate business from basically 0 to $500,000 in December, and it was a very basic chocolate snack company, and people just love giving gifts. Now their January numbers were significantly lower. But I'll share the numbers on this one. This was a pretty cool story, right? So like, these are all video testimonials. If you guys ever want to give me a video testimonial, it helps me out a lot. Send it over to podcast@myamazonguy.com. Even if you just want to say thanks for content. So on the right-hand side here, this is a chocolate business. I won't reveal their name, but we got hired like September 27th. And then we took them, immediately tripled their sales, and then we 11x'd them by the time December rolled around. And you can see 18,000 units sold and all that good stuff. So it just really depends, right? So like, we have a lot of success where we can bring a client in, onboard them, and within a month pay for ourselves. And then we have other products, supplements. I just had a client call this morning with a supplements client, and like their sales are stagnant, not going anywhere. And we were like trying to figure out how to recover the relationship. But unfortunately, it's very difficult on some products. So it just really depends on what your product category is, on how quick your success is, but it's absolutely doable. My lovely wife, who is watching the stream to give me some love, thank you very much. Glad I got the cam working. I know. Brett at FBA Excel says, yo, Steven, have you ran any tests running a 5% coupon or other amounts on your products? I'm currently doing some tests on mine. Curious if you have seen an impact on your clients. I have. And you're not going to like my answer, but basically it proved that sales don't make any difference. Zero impact on conversion rates. The video I did on this, let's see if I can find a link to it. So conversion tests, I changed my price by $1. Amazon case study. Yep, here we go, found it. All right, putting this into the comment section here. So this particular video, we talk about how I lowered the price for 30 days and 0% conversion difference, nada. So I raised my price back up, and I've kept it there ever since. And so definitely makes sense to test things, but go whatever direction it shows. Now, when you're first launching a product, you got 0 reviews, I probably would run with a coupon just to get the clicks, increase your CTR, but it will not help your conversion rates from my experience. Glenn, do you employ any ex-Amazon employees from Amazon Performance? Not from the performance team, but we have hired ex-Amazon employees. One of our hires used to run 300 employees at a warehouse at Amazon. And the culture at Amazon is very difficult. 70-hour work weeks, high pay, high performance base, and exhausting work. And I do not have an insider at the performance team. But I can tell you that a lot of the Amazon silos are inundated, overworked, overburdened, not happy to go into, clock the punch in every day. Glenn says you are incredibly well informed. How can I buy shares in your company? Well, I'm 100% private owned by myself. And if you can't buy a share in my company, you could buy one of my wine glasses. And so settle with that, if you will. My brand is Momster. You can find us amazon.com/Momster. And here is the link to that if you feel inclined. Otherwise, become a client. Go to My Amazon Guy and become a client. All that love is very, very welcome. But obviously, nobody's obligated to give me anything. It's up to you. Let's go to Glenn again. I found that Amazon choice labels make 0 difference. Have you noticed the same? You are correct, Glenn. I have also noticed this. And I get on a client call 3 times a week, and they're like, hey, can you get me Amazon's choice? And I'm just like, it doesn't mean anything. It's purely Amazon identifying that your product has a high conversion rate, and so they're trying to increase clicks to the listing. It's because they think your product will sell better than somebody else's. And that's all it is. It's just a silly badge that says your product's making Amazon money and they want to push more traffic to it. Now, obviously they're beneficial in the sense that it gets you more clicks. But I've not really noticed that, like, if it flicks on or off, if like the sales go up or down. Haven't noticed a thing. Joe says, what would you say the target market client for your agency? As we scale up the agency, we're trying to go after larger fish. The future of my company is targeting Amazon aggregators. We are going to create an elite service to service the aggregators. If you are an Amazon aggregator watching this content, I want to hear from you. We very much are trying to seek out your business right now. And so that's where my future is. But my current target demographic right now, anybody who is willing to commit to growing their sales on Amazon and has a budget, we're looking for full service clients where we run SEO, PPC, design, and catalog, and then they handle everything else. So that's kind of our target demographic. We've done really well with manufacturers who want to go direct to consumer for the first time. That's been a good strike zone for us. We don't do well with resellers. So if you have like 1,000 SKU catalog and you want to use us to optimize lots of products that you don't own the brands for, haven't done as well with that model. We typically like to help brands that have skin in the game, own their own products, and want to push them. Flying Swine Seasonings. It's Joe, guys. This is one of our current clients. Hey, Steven, what is going to be the approach for launching new products with the GS1 stricter enforcements? Purely hypothetical. So I know a lot of information behind this question based on the fact that this is a client, and they're okay with me saying that. That's why I'm saying that. They've come on our podcast and very public with our interaction. And I would say, I did a video the other day on GS1. They're changing the regulation. So like what UPCs used to be, and by the way, if you guys are looking for some barbecue sauce, rubs, Flying Swine Seasoning is phenomenal products. I like their apple flavor. It's amazing. I'm underselling this because I'm doing this on the fly. I didn't think about this, but I'm going to post a link right now. Let me share my screen. This is a really cool product, guys. So right here, we've been helping raise the sales on this item right here, and you can see all the different variety of options. My favorite's the Slap Apple Bourbon. So highly recommend that. And so back to Joe's question here, if with UPCs, like the point of UPCs was to create a way to identify your product across platforms, in and out of retail, in and off Amazon and other online portals, right? So like that was the point of UPCs, and so over time people realized, I could just go buy retired UPCs and make numbers up and whatever, and so it's super gamed. The Chinese have hacked the database. They figured out how to do this, and so Amazon is positioning in select categories more than others. Grocery and beauty and health seem to be the number ones impacted right now. If you've ever once bought your UPCs from GS1, you must buy all of your future UPCs from GS1 moving forward, like 100%. And if you try and buy like a non-registered UPC after your brand has been registered with the GS1, good luck. They're going to lock it. They're not going to let you sell it. It's a big problem, right? So that's the biggest challenge right now. Where I see it coming from now is they're going to require every brand to register with GS1 over time, and that's where we're seeing this head. So not sure a lot of proactive things you can do outside of just go ahead and buy directly from GS1. How is MyRefundGuy doing considering using the service? So I'm a big fan of my service on MyRefundGuy because it's an add-on. It's an automated service. It has a really great dashboard. I'll put a link to this in the comments section, and it's not a moneymaker for my agency. It's almost like just a kind of add-on service that we know everybody wants and everybody needs, but it's not necessarily a moneymaker for us. So for those that aren't familiar with this, you guys can sign up for free today, get your first $500 on the house. We will claw back to Amazon and get you money back. You can watch this 5-minute video where I demo the product. We chase lost and damaged units, refunds, mishandled returns, lost inbound shipments. I am using a partner to run this company, and it's completely automated. They use talent and labor in the Philippines to go file tickets to chase money back, which is why it's so cheap. The cost of the program is 25% of anything recovered. So if we recover you $1, we charge $0.25, and they will go tooth and nail every ticket, every item. So I am a big fan of the product, and I definitely recommend it. And if you have sold at least $500,000 on Amazon, you will probably see $3,000 clawed back, almost guaranteed. It's just a no-brainer to do. Travis says, we launched in Canada as well as the US. Our video hasn't shown up there. Do I need to do something to trigger an update? So when you say your video, have you loaded the video to both platforms? You do need to directly load it in both the US and Canada. If you haven't, you need to do that. Love the videos. Thanks, Jalen. I appreciate that. I skipped the Galaxy Sports question. All right, I'm scrolling up. Let's see, where can I find Galaxy Sports? Hi, do you know how to delete an ASIN from the Amazon back system so that it's completely removed? Maybe. That's a tough question. Did not purposely avoid it, just missed it. Really need to hire that social media liaison. If anybody has a talented social media person, please email their resume to jobs@myamazonguy.com. I need to make that hire. If you're the only seller of the product and you submit a delete on your template, that is the way to do it. Let me see if I can pull up a template file and see if I can show this. So, all right, no judgment on the product that I'm happening to find them a random template for. This is one of mine. So in here, if you scroll to the templates and go to the updates section, in this column, see how I'm showing partial updates? So instead of putting partial update, you would put the word delete and upload that. That would be the best way you can do it. Now, if anybody has loaded this data from another source, it will not remove it from the catalog. That's the downside. So hopefully that's helpful. But that would be how you delete it with a template upload. All right, so let's go to Travis. Is there any way to easily copy and paste our updated listing all at once from USA to Canada rather than one bullet at a time? Yes, there is. Do a category export. File a ticket requesting access to the all category report export, and that will give you every single data attribute. You can then copy that straight into Canada. You can also sync your inventory globally or report the data in the ASIN directly, though there are some data challenges with that. But Travis, you particularly would probably benefit from a coaching session on this question, where we can show you how to do these kinds of things. But there is a video I have on category exports. Let's see if I can find that real quick. At the bare minimum, check this one out. Category export, because it's extremely valuable. All right, I think I found it. So here's the video on that one. How to export bullet points and keyword search terms out of Seller Central Amazon. Highly recommend that one. And that'll get you a full export of all parts of your data. Joe says, do you have any experience taking on new clients that has just purchased an Amazon brand, looking to buy a private label, but my experience in wholesale model, not Amazon private label? So Joe, I'd say about 25% of my clients are not Amazon experts, where they just buy a brand and they will start working with us and we run everything for them. So if you buy a brand off of Quiet Light Brokerage, highly recommend them, by the way, as a broker, and you can find a good fit for you. We often will help somebody just like you. As long as you've got a budget to run it and you want to grow the brand, we're a great fit for that. Glenn says, do you have a view on products that have been successful on Kickstarter than going to sell on Amazon? So I have zero Kickstarter experience. I've had 2 brands that have had Kickstarters and then started to work with us, and both did exceptionally well with us. I would say that Kickstarter is better for products that are innovative, that solve a problem. So if you're a product engineer, they're going to be better for you. It's not going to work with like a widget item. If you got a widget, just go straight to market on Amazon. That's the best way to do it. If I want to make some changes about my product and make a design box, I need to send everything first to supplier, and when they modify the product and make a box with my design, only after can I order samples with 100% ready-made products that customers get confused by this, because I hear many people order samples but not really speak when exactly box design, because they need to make photos for the listing, get everything, product, insert card, ever. So So that's a lot to take in. Definitely recommend a coaching call on that one. What I would say, though, in short, is you need to have a box design expert send that to the manufacturer. Most manufacturers don't do box design. You will struggle to get what you're looking for if you try and go directly to a manufacturer and be like, hey, design my box. Most of them are just like small manufacturers who design products, not boxes. They have to go to somebody else to get the design. So you're better off hiring a box design professional, in my opinion. And then, yes, you're going to deliver that and say, hey, I want FOB. I want you to give me 1,000 units. Here's my box. I'll deliver it to you and go from there. Thanks. I'll hit you up. You're very welcome, Travis. So that is, I'll take one more question. Next person that types it, take one last question here, and then that'll be the My Amazon Guy weekly Q&A. Our next weekly Q&A will be Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I plan to hold this rather religiously every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, if this is the first time you've heard about us. We have over 600 videos of content on any Amazon topic of any kind. It's my pleasure to add back to the community and try and help everybody, because it's us against Amazon. It's not one seller against another seller. It's not me against another agency. You'll notice that I took questions from other agencies and gave agency advice too. It's my pleasure to do so. All right, last question for today. What happened to HTML descriptions? Well, they still exist as far as I know. You can only use P tags, break tags, some emojis, and bullet points. Those are the only codes that work currently. And hopefully you got what you need on that front. Glenn, very much, you're very welcome. Glad you've loved and enjoyed this hour. We'll try and continue doing these sort of things. The rep said no longer allowed, couldn't add it. And is there a workaround? Load it through a template file upload. Let me know how that goes. Report back. But yeah, I'm currently using HTML. A+ content, though, is where it's at, and you should focus there anyway. But product descriptions should be filled in if at all possible. That's everything from me today. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. See you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.